Hello, workshop students and visitors. We are in month 6 of 9 of the Birth Your Truest Story workshop that Jennifer Brody and I have been leading since September. We're about to enter our third and final trimester, and it has been a rich and so far, pun intended, fertile journey. This month I've been thinking about the topic of voice. I've always written stories, but I also trained as a journalist and I've written a lot of nonfiction, which has given me an interesting perspective on this elusive quality of writing that we call voice. I remember the revelation of discovering my voice when I wrote what became my first published novel. I'd already been writing for more than 20 years, but I realized that until then, I'd been writing in other people's voices. I took on the tone and expression of whoever I was writing. There was reporter Audrey, there was marketing communications Audrey, there was technical documentation Audrey. Now, there's nothing wrong with this, particularly if you've been hired to write something, but somewhere along the way, I lost Audrey. And finding your authentic voice is not an easy thing to do. And I don't think it's something that you can achieve by brute force. It's like taking the perfect golf shot, or shooting an arrow that hits the bullseye, or finding true love. The harder you try, the harder it becomes. But the more you relax and trust yourself to the process, the more likely you are to achieve what you're trying to do. Of course, this only works with practice. So the pro golfer doesn't wake up one morning never having held a golf club and then go out and get a hole in one. And the master archer doesn't hit the bullseye on the first day of target shooting. They work for years, flubbing their shots and slinging arrows that miss by a mile until their craft becomes automatic. And then, when they no longer need to concentrate on the mechanics, mastery can emerge. It's the same with writing. You toil away with your words. You write your crappy first drafts. You write your worst second drafts. You trim, you polish, you start again. And then, when the process of getting your ideas onto the page becomes almost as unconscious as breathing, your voice can emerge. So you're probably wondering, is there really nothing you can do actively to discover your voice? Do you really just have to wait around for years like I did until it emerges on its own? No, there are things you can do along the way as you're practicing your craft. You can get down into the weeds, quite literally, like a golfer studying geography and trajectories and wind speed. You can deconstruct your writing. You can look at how you put words together. Are your sentences long? Are they short? Do they use lots of adjectives, dependent clauses? What kinds of verbs do you favor? Do you vary the rhythm of your sentences? What patterns emerge and what effect do those patterns have on your readers? Are you more like a Hemingway or a Dickens? To help you decipher this, you can look at writers that you enjoy reading or those that you admire. Investigate their writing, not to compare yourself, not to say, oh, they're doing something I could never do, but rather to learn. How do they use words? And once you start to do that, you start to recognize what makes your voice, what makes you unique in the world. So this month, we'll hear again from our workshop participants who will be reading their work. And I'm getting familiar with each of their voices now and with how closely those voices are knitted together with the stories themselves. So whether you are a writer who's looking to discover your own voice or a reader who enjoys the voices of others, I really hope you'll give some thought to this idea of how you might explore and discover what makes your storytelling your own. Thanks for listening to my voice, and I will see you next month.